Welcome to this look at new mods on Farming Simulator 19 with me, MrSealyp. Hello! These are mods for Friday the 12th of February. I'm posting this on Saturday the 13th. If you watched my review of the TLX 9000 Rigid Series pack that posted on Friday, you will know that this is my fourth time now of trying to record this mod review. First two times it froze at different points and I had to come out of the game completely, come back in again, reset everything up again and go again. And on the third time I went through and tried to isolate what mod was causing it to do that. I think I may have done. Now that is no slight on the mod. Sometimes you can get mod conflicts and mod clashes. It can be a mod conflict with the mod and the map. It can be a mod conflict between the mod and another mod. It might not even be between the mod and the rest of the mods here. It could be a mod and another mod you've got installed. There are so many things that can cause problems like that. So, take 4. It's Saturday the 13th of February. We have new mods. And we have some updates. The updates are as follows. From top left, Colonia 1990 by Rajo G Play. The map has had an update. Oberkreibach by Richie F has also had an update, another map. The Crusetto NL28 by RLModding FSI Group. The Decompactor Combined Drigo by RLModding and FSI Group. The John Deere 6030 series by DB-Modding. The Joskin Wago Pack by AW-Modding, Nick Struss, ABP Team and Black Sheep Modding, the Lemkin D24 by AW-Modding ABP Team, and the Nifax 9509 by R. Mihail, which looks like it's got permission to use the name because that was lizards the other day, have all had updates yesterday. So fingers crossed. In front of me we have the gate. This is by Shadow Mods. It's 1.31 megabytes download and 1 slot on console. If you never see this footage, it's because it all went horribly wrong. If you're watching it, everything went absolutely fantastically. So, gate to the side opens there. Gates open here. And then, obviously, they close again. This you will find not under decoration, but under miscellaneous. 990 to buy. It's 1 slot anyway, so even when you bought the first one, it's still 1 slot. That's the gate by Shadow Mods. Next, we've got the garage for machines. This is 4.64 megabytes download. It is 25 slots on console. It's by Bartson V3. Very nicely detailed, loads of texturing, lots of kind of mottling and weathering, and I like that. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like it when you've got all these odds and ends and things around certain mods because it keeps the slot count up a bit, but it adds a bit of character to it. We do have a light switch at the front here if we listen. It's like flicking individual light switches. That does the exterior lights. We do have a smaller door to the side here. We have the larger double door here. And then we do have a light switch inside which does the same thing. What's that one not opening? Oh, there we go. A few more bits and bobs stacked inside, but the detail is just as good in here. What we'll do if I can get this to go. That's cool. I like that. Not a bad size either. This is under sheds. 17,000 to buy. Once you bought the first one, slot count drops down to 2. Very nice indeed. That's by Bartson V3. The next of our mods is this. This is the storage barn. This is 20.39 megabytes download, 35 slots on console. This is by Didec 96. This is incredibly well detailed. It looks brilliant. I love it. Now, it will, when placed, as you can see, put a little mound, a bump here. That can be kind of landscaped in if you want to. If you're looking for something really flat on a flat landscape, this is probably not going to be the mod for you then, because you've got this raised section just here, which to keep this bit level, it puts some landscaping in to do that. This is also a silo, but it will only hold wheat, barley and oats. We'll check the capacity because my mind's gone blank as to what the capacity is. But like I say, the texturing with the sort of foundation course down the bottom, brickwork, timber in between, tiny little details. Is that for when was it dovecots or was that just for aeration? I'm trying to remember now. We have some little side spaces and side barns. These are for putting straw and bales and things like that. If we open the double doors at the front, the level of detail continues inside. There's a bit of a kind of hayloft up there. There's not a ladder to get to it, but if you wanted to use it. We do have a light switch this side, which turns on the lights for that side. We have a light switch this side, which does the lights for that side. Now, there is a little bit of shadow thing here. We switch over. So the shadow switching on the floor. I mean, shouldn't they both be there? But anyway, regardless, when you bring something in, you tip here in this section right in front of me. But to get stuff out, we come to this little bit here, press circle, and it puts the auger out for taking back out of the silo. We do have another door out the back. However, as you can see, because of the sloping roof, this is much lower at the back. You are not going to get most tractors out through that, I wouldn't have said. So it may be an in and out one side, but very nicely detailed. I mean, look, even the slatted sections up there. It's very, very nice indeed. This you will find under silos. There you go, grain silo, 27,200. It will hold 48,200 litres of wheat, barley or oats. Lovely. That's by Didec 96. Moving on, we've got the farmhouse. This is by Carol. This is, where's it on my list? 7.26 megabytes download, 19 slots on console. Very nicely detailed, this one. Not too big a footprint either. Now, I don't think we can go inside on this one. And I'm pretty sure that the sleep trigger is up here on the front door. There we go. I'm not tired at the moment. Yeah, you can't go in. It is decorative, but a sleep trigger. The colouring's nice as well. I think the palette used on it makes it kind of stand out. It's a little bit different to ones we've had recently. This you'll find under farmhouses, 45,000 to buy, and if, well, obviously you can't place more than one unless you do multiplayer, but the slot count does drop down to 1 after you bought the first one at 19 slots. That's the farmhouse by Carol. Next, we've got this. Now, the next two mods are, what's the best way of putting it? Minor alterations, I would say, on a standard mod is the best way of putting that. This is the Imperium 3401. This is by AgrarModding. 6.22 megabytes download, 7 slots on console. Now, we do already have standard in-game Stratman Imperium 3401. The slot count's the same, the price is the same, what it holds is exactly the same. The only difference that I can tell at the moment is this one has got a lift-in front axle and the standard in-game one hasn't. That's the only thing I can find different. There is something else in the menu, the configurations, but for me, anyway, on here, it's not making any difference to the mod. So I'm a little bit confused. The mod hub also says the price for this is 72,000, which that's not what it's showing me in the menu as well, which is a little bit odd. Anyway, this you'll find under tools and trailers. So the standard Imperium 3401, 65 grand, 7 slots, takes all those things, 52,000 litre capacity. This modded one, 65 grand, it is 7 slots, that says 1 because I've got one, takes all those crop types, 52,000 litre capacity. Options available, Lizard, Trelleborg, Michelin tyres. No options within those, but that's what you get. Now this one where it says fill level, it says Aufbau or original. Well, I've clicked that backwards and forwards. It's showing no difference in the capacity. It's showing no difference I can tell on anything. The price hasn't gone up, so it's not showing 72,000, it's 65. So yeah, I'm as far as I can tell, it's just that front axle. So it will do what the regular one does with the difference of that. This is a push trailer, which is nice. I do like that. So not a bad capacity. But if we go to L1 and X, yeah, L1 and X raises and lowers that front axle. Unloading, it unloads like so. We do have the options of L1 and right stick side to side will raise and lower that section. Up and down, the right stick will do the front section, and under R1 and right stick side to side it raises and lowers that section, which is what the standard one does already. So yeah, that's the Imperium 3401. That's by AgrarModding. Yeah, not really much else to say about that one. Moving on. So next we have this. This is the Grimme SE260. This is by Hirschenpower. It is 5.02 megabytes download, 11 slots on console. Don't we already have one of these, you ask? Yes, we do. The standard in-game version of this is a harvester. And then when the Grimme pack came out last week, whenever it was it came out, a little while ago, we had a new-ish version of this, or a changed version of this, which was basically just a pickup. It lifted the potatoes off the floor. So when you were harvesting, if you left the potatoes on the floor with certain harvesters, this would come along and pick it up. I had a lot of comments left by people saying, well, that doesn't make any sense, because the real one in real life will either pick up from the floor or harvest. It can do both. Why is the one in the Grimme pack not doing that? So Hirschenpower has decided, okay, let's take the standard in-game one that harvests and give it the ability to harvest or pick up swaths off the floor. That's the only difference between this and the standard one. This will pick up potatoes off the floor if left in a little swath, whereas the standard in-game one only harvests, and the one in the Grimme pack only picks up. So this does both. That's it. I think that's pretty much, as far as I can tell, that's the only difference. The standard SE260 there is 150 grand, 11 slots, so the slot count's exactly the same, 9,276 litre capacity. This one here, the Grimme SE8555, is the one in the Grimme pack for 88,500, but that just collects. So this one is the SE260, it's 7,875 pounds, euros, or dollars more. Capacity is the same as the standard in-game one. Horsepower requirement is the same. Slot count's the same, but it does the job of both of them. So that's it. We can change the option from Trelleborg to Michelin and back again. We've got standard or wide on both. The wide on the Michelin is a little bit chunkier. That's it. I mean, there's not really much else to say about it. It unfolds into its position, ready to harvest or collect. Now, as far as I can tell, there's no option to put it on harvest or collect. It will either, I assume, when you turn it on, drop it down, it's going to go along and harvest, or if the stuff's already been topped and harvested and it's in a row, it will just pick it up. Pipe out is that. Once you're full, like I say again, this is the same as the standard in-game version, and then we can tilt the top like that. So a slight adjustment to the standard, but it saves you having two of the other ones, I suppose. That's the Grimme SE260 by Hirschenpower. Next we have got the Holaras OCTO 1500. This is 2.58 megabytes download. It is 4 slots on console. This is by 20 Farmers. It hooks onto the front. Nicely detailed. This is designed for feeding out your clearing area. Clearing out your feeding area is what it's designed for. It can be mounted front or rear, I guess. I just clicked on the front. I'm not quite sure why I decided to click on the front. You turn it on and it rotates. So what you do is you lower it down, and as you go along the side of a feed trough, it just cleans the feed area. We can adjust it. So if we turn it on, it does that. Oh, there we go. So under R1, with it lowered, open front loader tool, so going right, left or right on this stick will switch it. So if you're going along the side of a trough, obviously you don't want to be hitting your tractor tyres. It depends what tractor you're using. This is quite a large tractor, in all honesty. You probably want to use something a bit smaller. And you just drive along the side and it will clean up your feed area. Turn it off, lift it up, This you'll find under Tools and Miscellaneous. 1,400 to buy. 40 horsepower required, so you can sit on a really small tractor and just have that cleaning up and do whatever you want. 2 metre wide, 7 miles per hour. No options available. You get it as it is. Next up, we've got this. This is the Mammoth PM40A. This is by Agrartechnik Nordeifel. It's 4.94 megabytes download and 7 slots on console. This is a 6,000 litre feed mixer of the Mammut variety. Very nicely detailed. This will unload to the left or the right. We do have a little bit up there we can stand up and have a look at our mix. You can use this for putting straw bedding in, you can use it for doing grass or hay for feeding animals, or you can do a total mix ration. Because it's a 6,000 litre capacity, bales going into this isn't going to work, because obviously if you're going to try and do a total mix ration, you need 2 ingredients at least, if not 3, if you're going to be using straw. So you're either going to want to put it in with a bucket or from a silo. Now from a silo they often unload at quite a fair speed and would be still fairly tricky to do, so probably with a bucket. Ratios can be half silage, half hay, or quarter silage, quarter straw, half hay. So it depends how you want to go about that. But yeah, I mean, it looks very nice indeed. This one's got told me it's ration in, but what we'll do is we'll hook up to it. Does have a reverse light. I'm going to check something because, oh no, I was really hoping, because it's got a light there which comes on, which lights up the stuff, but it's also got cameras. You see there's little like GoPros, so you've got a rear camera and you've got a camera that looks into the mixer. I was really hoping they were going to work, so I thought that would be absolutely fantastic if those cameras were operational, but they are on there. I mean, that's the detail. We have got a proper mix, everything's in the green, 6,000 litre capacity. We've got tip side left, tip side right. If I unload now, comes out that side, and obviously if I go to the other side, it comes out that side. I think it has, is the display working? Oh no, I thought the display might be working. I mean, that in essence is the mixer. Like I say, you don't have to do a total mix ration, you can just use it for spreading out bedding down the side or in, or you know, if you're doing grass for sheep or hay for cows, you can, you know, use it for that as well. That's entirely your prerogative. Let's just turn the lights off. This you will find under animals, the PM40A, 9,500 to buy. It requires 60 horsepower to operate. First one, as I said, was, what did I say? It was 7 slots, which drops down to 1 if you get any subsequent versions. There are no options. You get it in the Mammoth kind of egg yolk yellow. Probably the best way of describing that, isn't it? Nice looking mod. Very well made. That's by Agrartechnik Nordeifel. Next, we have this. And just so you know, this is the furthest I've got with my mod review on this. So everything's looking good. This is the Alfa 2.1. This is 10 slots. This is by KoPi. It's 9.92 megabytes download. It's a cultivator. 2.1 meters wide. Nicely made. There are a few different options available on this. You'll find it under disc arrows. 3,800 to buy, 55 horsepower required. It will run at 9 miles per hour. We can change the main colour to anything on that palette. And then we've got the option on the back of drum, yes or no. No, it doesn't raise or lower, but it's there if you want it. And then we've got the option of discs, so we can change from the kind of serrated ones and then the rounder discs. So we can have option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4, or back to option 1 again. Those are our choices. We lower it down. And we cultivate at 2.1 metres. That's the Lizard Alpha 2.1 by KoPi. Moving on. We have the Lizard 815. This is 4.07 megabytes download, 6 slots on console. This is by Hemerson, Dentinho. This is a subsoiler, quite a wide one as well. Fairly chunky construction, but very nicely detailed. That's going to last a long time, isn't it? I would imagine that's got a bit of weight to it as well. This you'll find under subsoilers. The Lizard 815, 18,000 to buy. Only requires 120 horsepower, which is quite low for a subsoiler. Especially the fact it's 6.5 metres, which puts it, other than the Cultiplow Platinum, or the Cultiplow that we've got, the standard one. So I've got a standard or a modded one I've got there, but they're 8 metres. So for what I would consider a standard one, I guess, it'll run at 7 miles per hour. There are options available. You get it as is. So this should give you a ploughed state. So if it says your fields need ploughing, they require ploughing, this will do it, but it will give you a cultivated look. That being said, I haven't tested this one out yet because I thought, as per usual, it's a fairly obvious one. This will do this. You know, it'll be just my luck. This will give you a ploughed state and a ploughed look, but we'll see. Nope, we're good. Yeah. Nice little bit of movement, bit of flex around the bar, but 6.5 metres subsoiler. Does the job. Very nice. That's by Hemerson Dentinho. Next up, we have got the Cultivator CVACn. CVACn? Again, my handwriting, I'm so sorry. Yeah, CVACn. I looked and thought, is that right? Is that an N? This is also under subsoilers, but this is a subsoiler which fertilises at the same time. As you can see, fertiliser box on the top. L1 and left on the D-pad opens them up and they'll take 530 litres of fertiliser. This is 7.96 megabytes download. It is by JV3D-modding and SleutjesModding. Nicely detailed. One thing I will say is when you want to put this down, lower it and then disconnect it. Don't disconnect it from raised. I know sometimes it depends on what you're pulling it with. If it's close to the ground, oh, you know, rather than lower, just click, bomb, drop it off. If you do, because of the shape of these tines, it rolls backwards on itself, and I suppose because of the weight here with the fertilisers on it, it rolls backwards. The 3-point link points to the sky, and then you can't hook it back up again. Trust me, I know. This you'll find also under subsoilers. CVACn 2799 for a 3.8 metre width, requires 85 horsepower and will run at 9 miles per hour. There are no options available. You get it like that. I do like the detailing with the little, the tubes that come down from the fertiliser tanks to each of the coulters, so the fertiliser's going in as it's digging. I think it's brilliant. Now this should do the same thing. Turn it on because it's fertilising. Drop it down. Cloud state, cultivated look. But as you can see, compared to the strip next to us, this is darker because we're fertilising. And what I'm going to do is turn that off. So if I carry on now, you'll see that we are subsoiling. We are ploughing / cultivating, but it's lighter. So if you want to, you don't have to fertilise. You can just run it as a subsoiler, but it does have the fertilising option if you turn it on to do so. Very cool, that. Cultivator CVACn by JV3D-modding and SleutjesModding. Next up, we have this. This is the Lizard V30, 7.26 megabytes download, 7 slots on console. This is by Konstii LS Fabian Gogobear. It's a 3,100 litre, if I recall, slurry spreader, or it will do digestate, one or the other. Nicely detailed. This is going to be designed for small farms, smallish fields. It's not got a large capacity, so it's not going to, you know, if you're looking to do a, you know what I mean. If you're going to do a massive field, it's going to take you ages backwards and forwards. But there are a lot of farmers that do have small slurry spreaders and do large fields. It's just a lot of backwards and forwards. This you'll find under slurry tanks. V30, 18 grand to buy, requires 35 horsepower. It will spread 7 meters. I'm looking at the 7 thinking that's miles per hour. 7 meter spread, 9 miles per hour. Options available, there are none. I'm so on edge because I just keep thinking any moment it's going to freeze and I'm going to lose everything. So we'll hook up, turn it on, unfold it. Do I? What changed then? Not quite sure what changed then. As you can see, we are spreading our slurry. That lovely slurry sheen across the ground. It's actually not going down as quickly as I thought it was going to. To be fair, you'll get a fair amount done with it. Nice animation. Nice mod. That's the Lizard V30 by Konstii LS and Fabian Gogobear. Next up, we have this. I think it's hiding. Is it shy? This is the Massey Ferguson 200 series. 8.89 megabytes download. 13 slots on console. This is by Ivankio, Tailan and Agro mods. It has a very strange option, as you can see, which I've never come across before. But if you're using this in the Brazilian heat or South American, I would imagine having a cover over there to give you a bit of extra shade is probably absolutely lovely. So, this you'll find under vehicles and small tractors. 35 grand to buy. 75 horsepower on the base version, base model. 13 slots drops down to 1 if you get any subsequent ones of this. We can change the main colour from the original to a slightly more, a little bit faded. I think it's a little bit faded. My eyesight, I'm not too sure. And then if we go for the third option, it looks faded even more. I'm sure it is. Yeah. Rim colour, anything on that palette if you want to go. Yeah, it's up to you. Then configuration, this is another one of those menus, unfortunately. We've got front configuration, we've got front weight, weight and shovel, lightweight, or bumper, which I think is what I went for, bumper. Then back to nothing. Design, we've got original, chrome, this is for the exhaust stack, so that's original. Chromed exhaust stack or a thicker chromed exhaust stack, back to original. Wheel setup, we can have standard, wides, rear twins, narrows, back to standard. So all the options covered. I mean, you know, the fact it's got narrows on it as well, I'm sure it would find uses for all sorts of jobs. Accessories, we can have a windshield added. We can have a GPS system added, which puts a little GPS unit, which looks like a... Oh no, I thought it was a John Deere logo from in there. Well, that's a bit weird. And it puts a little wire back to a screen just behind the steering wheel. We can have that with a windshield, and then we can have that. We can have a canvas over the top, or we can have canvas with a windshield. Doesn't give us canvas, windshield, and GPS option though. I don't. This looks strange. I clicked on that first of all and thought, "Whoa, okay, I haven't come across that before." So the 275 is 75 horsepower, the 283 is 83 horsepower, and the 290 is 96 horsepower. Then we can have front loader. Yes or no. If you put it on yes, that's a big old chunky solid front loader attacher on that. but it will take a front loader attacher. Lights, main lights, off again. That's a point. No indicators, no beacons. There is a rear light, but it's very... If we look on the ground, I suppose at night it'd be better, but it's not that strong a rear work light. In cab, I suppose it is technically in cab. I suppose with that cover on, it's going to feel quite dark, isn't it? Quite shaded. With the exhaust blowing under the cover, that's going to make you cough a bit over the course of the day. But there you go. That's the Massey Ferguson 200 series by Ivankio, Tailan and Agro Mods. Moving on. We go up a range and a little bit newer. We've got the Massey Ferguson 7600 by blauea, 16.75 megabytes download, 15 slots on console. A lot of detail on this. I do love these Nokians, the tread on those. And I've said it before, but I do like them. blauea's tractor mods always really, really heavy on the detail. But not too bad on the slot. I mean, 15 slots. That's amazing when you think of all the detail on that. Incredible. This you'll find under medium tractors. I think we've got one of each today. Massey Ferguson 7600. Rim colour, we can change anything on that palette. We do have a silver, a black, beige, white and communal. Let's go for, I think I'm going for silver on what I've got. The main colour, anything on that palette. And then design colour, as you can see, the bits that are in between the grills and stuff at the moment are red. We can mix and match those, so we can go with black or silver or let's say anything on that palette to match up or contrast whatever colour scheme you are going with. Then configuration, we've got standard, we've got 170 kilogram front weight, and then that goes up through a whole load of them to up to about 700. I'm not going to, because it bounces backwards and forwards through the menu, it takes ages. But it goes up in small increments, different weight options. If I go back the other way, we do have a front hydraulic. Let's see if I can go one more and we'll see. 720 kilograms is what it ends up going all the way up to. In increments, options for tyres. We've got Trelleborg, we've got Michelin, we've got Nokian, Mitas and back again. On the Trelleborg, we've got standard. Weights, wides, wider weights, rear twins, twins, narrows and back to standard. Michelin, we've got standard, weights, wides, weights, rear twins, twins, but no narrows. We go back to standard. Nokian, that fancy tread, we've got rear weight, rear twins, twins, standard communals, and then back to standard. And under Mitas, we've got standard, weights, rear twins, twins, back to standard again. So a few different tyre choices. The Trelleborgs have most of the options, I guess. Then we've got the option of GPS receiver now on console. It's aesthetic. It's not going to serve a purpose as such. The GPS receiver unit goes on the roof. Adds an extra 2,500 onto the price. But if you want it, you absolutely can. Then engine setup. We've got the 7614 Dyna 4 at 155 horsepower. We then go up to 165 horsepower. Then 175 horsepower, 185 horsepower, 200 horsepower for the 7618 Dyna 6. So 200 horsepower is the highest it will go. Let's hop in. Horn. Oh, that's a point. Sorry. Didn't do the horn on that one. There we go. Horn, steering wheel goes into place once you get in. Lights, there's a lot of lights on this. They're spread out. Oh, I was just saying, wow, that's amazing, but that's the lights of that one. Beacons. Now we do have L1, R1, left stick side to side opens and closes the door, left stick up and down, no, left stick side to side opens the door, right stick up and down opens the rear window. So we've got door and window opens and closes. They're both under L1, R1, one's left stick, one's right stick. What else? In cab, as you would expect from a blauea mod. Nicely detailed interior. Nice and smooth. That little bit of movement when you accelerate and brake. Oh, I forgot to show there's an option for front loader attacher. I didn't show that, did I? Sorry, you can have a front loader attacher on this as well. So there you go. That's the Massey Ferguson 7600 by blauea. Which brings us on to not quite the last of the mods for today. This is the last one we're going to have a look at. Now, excuse me. The one that I omitted, that I haven't downloaded again, was the American Horse Ranch by KENNEL and WhiteBull modding. Now, of all the mods, and coming back in this morning, fiddling around, that was the one that seemed to be causing my game to freeze. And again, it could be a clash with the map, could be a clash with the mod. One of the mods I've got out could be a clash with the mod I've got within the save game. I honestly don't know, but that's the one I identified for me personally. Now, it might be you've had no problems at all with it. Again, that could be down to the map you're on. It could be the combination of mods you're using. But that was the one I identified as causing me a bit of an issue, unfortunately. It is 11.36 megabytes download. There is a main horse ranch section which will take 15 horses. There's a separate riding section. The main horse stable is 8 slots. The one to the side of it that you can have for exercising your horses is 3. You don't have to have them both. You can have one or the other. Yeah, unfortunately, it was just causing me personally a few issues with my mod review. So that one I won't be showing you. Apologies for that. So the last of the mods for today. We're going to need a bigger kennel. This is the Dog 65. This is by J.AModding. Now, dog being a play on the cat logo. This is the Caterpillar Challenger 65 in real life. And I'd look online. The pictures of it online, I don't know if this is a later model or I didn't find one that looks exactly like this. It's either the tractor's a little bit bigger or the cab is smaller. A lot of the pictures I found, the cab looked a lot smaller. Now, I couldn't tell if this one, the cab's right, but the tractor's a little bit smaller, maybe. Well, let's say it could be a slightly different version, but I tell you what, it's spot on for what it looks like. I mean, because I thought, okay, I didn't know if it was made up, and in the mod tab it says it's Challenger, and I thought, but that says dog, which is cat. That's a play on the cat thing, but it's actually a Caterpillar Challenger tractor. Yeah, very cool. So yeah, a bigger kennel is required. Nicely made mod. There's no front 3-point link or anything on this. Rear 3-point link, straight out of the box at 360 horsepower, but that could be off slightly. We'll check in the mod hub in just a second. It's only 100,000 as well, so for that sort of horsepower, not bad at all. This is by, so it said J.AModding, 13.52 megabytes download, 12 slots on console as well, which again, not too high. This is under large tractors. I said we had one of each today. So, the Dog 65, 100,000 to buy. Oh, that's interesting. That says 370 horsepower. I thought 360. I just clicked on the website to my right on my other screen, and on the website it says 380. So, we're somewhere between. It's 370 horsepower. No options available. You get it just like that. When you get in, the door opens and closes, which I'm going to swing round. And we'll do that again. Now, like I say, the textures are quite flat and it looks quite basic. But again, I got caught out before on a mod recently and somebody said to me, but that's how it looks in the real world. And I apologise for that. Sometimes I say the texture looks flat, and you can tell sometimes the texturing doesn't quite look right. There's nothing wrong with the texturing, and it is flat and it is fairly plain because this is what it looks like in the real world. It is fairly slab-sided. Turns on a sixpence. Fairly quick at 26 miles an hour as well. Like I say, I think for the price and the horsepower you get, that's a brilliant bit of kit to have. In cab. I was trying to think what car it reminded me of, and it reminded me of a car. As soon as I got in, I thought, and I can't remember what one it was. But anyway, regardless of that, lights on all the way through, engine off, lights all go off. There are no beacons. No beacons. We do have indicators. I didn't show the indicators on the other one, sorry. But yeah, I mean, that in essence, that's it, but that's cool. Lights, main beams, there's no rear work light. That will just do a bit of heavy work for not a bad slot count, not a bad price. The Dog 65 by J.AModding. And that's it for the mods for today. Yes, we got through the whole thing without it freezing up. I couldn't be happier. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.